So let's start with the today's newspaper analysis. Can you see the newspaper on your screen, Sagar? Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Sagar, is newspaper visible to you on your screen?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
So Maldives has suspended three ministers after row over their remarks against Modi. As you have said 2 to 3 days back, that after the change in the rule in Maldives, change in the political party of the rule in Maldives, the relation between India and Maldives has tensed. So, three ministers of the Maldives have made some remarks against Indian Prime Minister Modi. So, Maldives has suspended those three ministers after the over their remarks against Modi, and that's what you can see, that this is what is the significance of India in the India Maldives bilateral relationship. That's what we can check it out here. So please read this article. This row comes at a time when all eyes are on what Muizzu is the new president of Maldives now. He does next. Unlike his predecessor, India has not been his first stop after entering office. He has been to Turkey, UAE, and now China. He has asked India to withdraw its military from Maldives and decided not to renew a pact for a survey of Maldivian water. So, normally, whenever a new president of Maldives is elected, he visits to India in his first visit, and then he goes to the other countries. But this time, the new president of Maldives, that is President Moizu, he has not given any visit to India, and at the same time, he has also asked the Indian government to withdraw military from Maldives. Now, Maldives is again a strategically very important country for India, a very important neighboring country of India, because Maldives is located in Indian Ocean. So Maldives is important for India for its maritime security, its naval security, and India always wanted to have a good relations with Maldives, and because our military and our navy and our air forces are located on some of the Maldives islands. So recently, Maldives is becoming more and more closer to the China, and that is what is a cause of worry. So, as a UPSC aspirant, you need to know that what is the significance of Maldives, what is India Maldives bilateral relationship, and you know uh, how this relationship is changed after this new president of Maldives is elected. Got it, Sagar? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please read this article to understand the India Maldives bilateral relationship. Now let's move on to the next page. Hasina wins fourth straight terms, as we have discussed 2 3 days back. That even in Bangladesh is also the elections were supposed to be held, and a stable Bangladesh government was in India's interest. That's what we have discussed. So Sheikh Hasina Wajid has won the election for fourth, uh, straight terms now. So she will be then again the Prime Minister of the Bangladesh. Now let's move on to the next page. All these are political news. You can read it by yourself. Prime Minister said that police need to work with data and not with danda. That's what Prime Minister said. So this is what is the importance of data in India. So please read this article to understand that why our Prime Minister has said this. Now, today's editorial page is with respect to the Enforcement Directorate. That's what you can see. ED's long arm touches opposition more than ruling party, but unleashing goons to assault its officer is rule of the mob. So we have seen that a few days back when ED officials have visited Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal's house. So at that time, some of the mob have attacked the Enforcement Directorate official. Now, as a UPSC aspirant, you need to know what is Enforcement Directorate and why Enforcement Directorate activities or its actions are in controversy in the last 2 to 3 years. That's what you need to know as a UPSC aspirant. So let's move on to the next page. आदित्य L1 से related आज का article आया हुआ है. I've asked you to go and check it out what is the importance, and even I have shared the notes on the group. So Aditya L1 could help unravel several mysteries of the star closest to the earth. So there are so many mysteries associated with the sun. Sun is a star, it is not a planet. So there are so many mysteries are about it, like how the light is created, how the heat is generated, what is sun's corona. All these things are being researched by this Aditya L1 mission. So it is another feather in ISRO's cap. So achievements of Indians in space technology. That's what you need to know as a UPSC aspirant, right? So yesterday I have send you the Aditya L1 kya hota hai. That's what I have discussed with you in the group. The notes have been shared with you in the group. Today we will be sharing that what are the achievements of India in space technology. So this is one of the important achievement of India, that is Aditya L1. So here you can see the second paragraph. So far, Indian scientists have been studying the sun from the ground-based telescopes. These enable observation of stars' visible surface, but not its atmosphere. तो visible surface दिखाई दे रहा था, but atmosphere नहीं दिखाई दे रहा था. So Aditya L1 aims to observe the sun's corona, which I have shared with you yesterday, the outermost part of its atmosphere, and understand its extreme heat. The mission could provide clues to resolving a long-standing mystery that why is the not so bright corona of the star closest to us million degrees Celsius is hot when the temperature of surface is about 5,500 degrees Celsius. So the mission could help scientists understand how the sun's radiation, flow of particles, and magnetic fields affect the Earth. All these things will be researched by this Aditya L1 mission. Solar flares have the potential to damage electronic equipment and satellites. So they will be also discussing the solar, solar flares, which are affecting the various electronic gadgets on the surface of the Earth. About 7,000 satellites orbiting the Earth currently have a crucial role in several fields, so ranging from telecommunication to weather prediction. So this information gathered by the India Solar Observatory could help the scientists find ways to understand this burst of the radiation and even predict them. Aditya will also study the space weather that results from solar storms using 4 instruments that are pointed at the star and 3 others that will monitor the solar wind and effects of these norms on the sun's magnetic field. So all this could enrich the understanding of the climatic changes in the coming decades. So this is what is the significance of this Aditya L1 mission, in which all these things will be researched by this, by this space mission. So as a UPSC aspirant, you need to know what is this Aditya L1 mission and what are its objectives and how it is going to help the scientists about the universe. Is it clear? So I have already
Yes,
shared the notes with you in the group yesterday. So you can also make your own notes with respect to the Aditya L1 mission, which is one of the important achievement of India in space technology. So the question can be asked to you in mains as well as in prelims exam. In prelims exam, question could be asked about the statements related to the Aditya L1 mission, and in mains exam, the question could be asked about the achievements of space technology. Now let's
Sir,
move to
right
the
hand
next
side.
page.
Sir, right hand side one article is there. Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram related article.
Which article? This,
Yes, sir. This one.
the article which is written by Manish Agarwal.
Yes, sir.
A god that failed. Jan Vishwas Bill 2.0 is needed to address excessive criminalization and accelerate job creation. So Manish Agarwal says that there is a need of addressing the excessive criminalization in India and accelerate the good job creation. तो इंडिया में अच्छे job create करने की जरूरत है. That's what he says. So this article will be useful for you in that how to write a good essay on this issue. So please read this article. Let's move on to the next page. Growth and its discontents. Do you remember, Saga? There was one question in this year's mains exam with respect to the economic growth in India. एक क्वेश्चन पूछा
Yes,
गया
sir.
था इस साल के मेंस एग्जाम में. GS पेपर 3, there is a topic called growth, development and employment. So India में economic growth, which is measured in GDP, in basics of Indian economic class, we have already discussed that what is gross domestic product and how it is calculated, what are the different methodology of the calculation of the GDP. But at the same time, in the last 2 to 3 years, economic growth in India has reduced. And at the same time, some of the economists, जो भी हमने देखा था कि 2 days back, the GDP data has been declared by National Statistical Organization. So some economists in India as well as abroad, context the claim of the government. गवर्नमेंट ये कहता है कि इंडिया में अराउंड 7.3% इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ रेट है, बट कुछ इकोनॉमिस्ट को ऐसे लगता है कि इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ सही नहीं है, बिकॉज जैसे इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ बढ़ता है वैसे बाकी के दूसरे भी चीजें में बढ़ोतरी होनी चाहिए. जैसे एज द इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, एज द जीडीपी इंक्रीजेस, there should be increase in employment, there should be decline in inflation, there should be changes in some other macroeconomic indicator of the economy, which is not happening in India. And that is why Ashok Gulati and Shaima Josh has written an article on growth and its discontents. So decline in multidimensional poverty is a good news. Economic growth की वजह से poverty कम होती है, as we all know. As GDP increases, poverty decreases. So as per the data, there is a decline in multidimensional poverty. What is multidimensional poverty? Any idea, Sagar?
Yes, sir.
The data which is released by NSO 2 days back, it says that in India, multidimensional poverty is declined. So what is this multidimensional poverty, Sagar?
Yes, sir. There are three indications of the multidimensional poverty, like education and health and the nutrition.
So this multidimensional poverty has declined, which is the good news, but it is crucial to address income poverty. So income poverty nahi hua hai, which is still high. As per Ashok Gulati, the income poverty in India is still high. So read this article to understand that what are the issues associated with the economic growth in India. Every year in mains exam, UPSC do ask question on issues associated with economic growth in India. Clear? Now let's move to the next page. There is one mosque which is located in the Delhi. This is called Sunehri Masjid. So government is planning to demolish this mosque. So that is what is article is written by Firoz Bakht Ahmad. who is saying that it is not just a mosque, it would be a blow to a heritage of shared values. In fundamental duty chapter, in fundamental duty, there is one more fundamental duty that is called to protect the composite culture of India. तो इंडिया में पिछले 6-7 600-700 सालों में, like around 600-700 years in India, a composite culture is created in India where all the religious people live together happily. So अगर ये मॉस्क को अगर demolish किया जाएगा, so it would be a blow to that shared values. That's what Firoz Bakht Ahmad is saying. ये जो वैल्यू है, इस वैल्यू को ब्लो रहेगा. That's what he is saying. So now let's move to the next page. How the artificial intelligence is being harnessed in treatment of cancer. तो कैंसर के ट्रीटमेंट में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को यूज किया जा रहा है. कैसे इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है? That's what you can come to know by reading this article. Now what the GDP data show? Issues related to the GDP. The first advanced estimate are the last GDP data released before the union budget is presented. So अभी यूनियन बजट आएगा नेक्स्ट मंथ, तो उससे पहले ये डेटा आया हुआ है. They also provide the first complete picture of economic growth in the 10 years of Narendra Modi government. तो नरेंद्र मोदी गवर्नमेंट में last 10 years में what is the economic growth picture? That is what is explained in this National Statistical Organization GDP data. So what is GDP? What is GDP growth rate? All this I have already discussed with you in the basics of Indian economic class. So प्राइवेट कंजम्पशन डिमांड बढ़ रहा है या नहीं बढ़ रहा है, इन्वेस्टमेंट स्पेंडिंग बढ़ रहा है या नहीं बढ़ रहा है, गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग बढ़ रहा है या नहीं बढ़ रहा है, एंड नेट एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ रहा है या नहीं बढ़ रहा है. ऑल दिस थिंग्स यू नीड टू नो एज अ यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट. So please read this article to understand that although the economic growth of the country is increased in the last in the last few years, and India is fastest growing economy in the world as per the NSO. But what about the private consumption demand and investment spending, government spending and export? Export India का बढ़ रहा है या नहीं बढ़ रहा है? That's what you can come to know by reading this article. तो ये डेटा आपको ध्यान में रखना है for मेंस एग्जाम point of view. Now let's move on to the next page. Around 29,000 bogus firms have been created. GST evasion is of 44,000 crore. मतलब गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स को इवेड किया गया है. राइट, हमने देखा था कि टैक्स इवेजन ना होना चाहिए, इसी वजह से गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स को लाया गया था. डू यू रिमेंबर सागर? Like I was discussing the reforms in indirect taxes in the Indian economic class. तो उस समय में हमने डिस्कस किया था that goods and services tax is expected to stop the tax evasion, and that was the main objective of the goods and service tax. But here you can see the data shows that around 29,000 bogus companies have been created and around 44,000 crores of GST tax has been evaded. तो टैक्स को इवेजन किया गया. व्हाट इज टैक्स इवेजन सागर? टैक्स इवेजन क्या होता है? एनी आइडिया अबाउट इट?
यस सर, टैक्स को पे नहीं करना सर, मतलब जो टैक्स
पे नहीं करना या टैक्स की चोरी करना. टैक्स की चोरी करना मतलब होता है
चोरी करना सर.
yes, to find solution or to find some ideas not to pay the tax. That is what is called as tax evasion. तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए, इसी वजह से जीएसटी को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था. बट डिस्पाइट ऑफ इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ द जीएसटी, यू कैन से that around 44,000 crore GST evasion has been detected. So this is one of the issue of goods and service tax. So as a UPSC aspirant, whenever you will be making the notes with respect to the GST, सबसे पहले तो आपको what is GST ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. Then what are the provisions of the GST and what are the objectives of the introduction of the GST in India? That's what you need to know. And you also in mains exam you need to know what are the issues associated with the GST. There are so many issues associated with the GST. one of the issue associated with the GST is the GST evasion, despite of all the all the precautions have been taken that there should not be any tax evasion. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Check it. Now GST is a direct tax or it is an indirect tax?
This is indirect tax, sir.
It is a direct or
Indirect,
indirect?
sir. Indirect, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next page. Corporate investment tax stagnation. Private companies and corporate companies are not investing in India. That's what you can say. Bank credit to industry sees sluggish growth on weak demand. तो बैंक का जो क्रेडिट है इंडस्ट्रीज को जो दिया जाता है उसमें ग्रोथ नहीं हो रही है बिकॉज ऑफ द वीक डिमांड. So as we see that there is in economy demand, and demand is again one of the very important the aspect of the growth of the economy. Whenever there is demand, there only there will be growth. So demand, consumption demand कम हो रहा है, and because of low consumption demand, the economic growth is low, and since economic growth is low, the bank credit growth is also low. मतलब the industries are not seeking the loan or they are not taking the loan. Clear?
Yes, sir.
FMCG makers expect low in middle single digit. मतलब faster moving consumer जो goods हैं उसमें भी एक growth कम दिखाई दे रहा है because people are not moving FMCG goods now. What could be the reason, Sagar, that why the people are not buying FMCG goods? First, explain me what is FMCG goods and what is the reason that why people are not buying more FMCG goods.
Sir, FMGC goods are those goods which are usable daily life में से use किया जाता है, and the
Example?
demand of the example like soap, the toothpaste, etc. sir, shampoo वगैरह जो भी daily use में हम use करते हैं वो
Okay, hair
FMGC.
oil.
Yes, yes, sir, hair oil.
Right? Okay.
And because of declining of this FMGC goods, there is a decline in private consumption, sir.
Now, why demand is low in FMCG food now? Like why people are not buying all these goods now?
Sir, because of the demand कम हो चुकी है sir, तो खरीद करने के लिए
Like why demand is low? The demand is low because of
inflation, sir.
income is lower.
Yes,
जो
sir.
income जो है
Income
लोगों
is
का
lower.
low हो गया है, and of course जब when people's income is lower, the FMCG goods are not bought by the people. People buy the essential goods, right? So buying
Yes,
the
sir. Yes, sir.
FMCG goods is a discretionary spending. Like ये जब लोगों के पास में एक्स्ट्रा इनकम होगा then only people buy such type of goods. But जब लोगों का इनकम लो हो जाता है, people buy the essential goods like foods, food grain, etc. Got it, Sagar? So in the last few
Yes,
years,
sir.
the income of the people have reduced. There is low demand for the FMCG goods. Got it, Pranali? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
प्रणाली इंग्लिश कळतो आहे ना? का माझा इंग्लिश म्हणजे खूप जास्त स्पीड मध्ये चालू आहे?
नाही सर समजतं.
ओके, गुड. चले, now let's move on to the next page. Bangladesh elections results were declared. You can say that Prime Minister Hasina has got 4th straight term landslide victory. तो बांग्लादेश में हमने जैसे शुरुआत में भी देखा था, न्यू प्राइम मिनिस्टर प्राइम मिनिस्टर हसीना वाजिद, मतलब earlier also she was the prime minister, she has also won the election this time. So you can see that out. One of the important feature you can see here, that polling and voting in Bangladesh takes place still in ballot paper. There is no electronic voting machines in Bangladesh.
Sir, in Bangladesh there is no EVM machine, sir.
Yes, there is no UVMs. The ballot paper पे वहां पर election होता है, unlike in India. Fine. So this is all there in the today's newspaper. I have given you 4 to 3 points which you need to check it out today as a UPSC aspirant. One is India Maldives bilateral relationship. Second, achievements of Indians in space technology. And third, you need to know and go and check it out. What is multidimensional poverty and what are issues associated with the GST? GST से related क्या issues हैं? That's what you need to know. And third is the issues associated with the economic growth data. जो इकोनॉमिक जो डेटा है जीडीपी ग्रोथ डेटा जो डिक्लेयर किया गया या रिलीज किया गया by National Statistical Organization. So what are issues associated with that? Clear? Here you can see the line of the economic growth of India during the last 10 years of Prime Minister Modi's regime. So 2014 से लेकर 2024 तक last 10 साल में what has happened with economic growth, that's what you can see. Can you see a V-shaped growth here now? Economic growth, V-shape. So this was during the Corona period. Like economic growth rate was in negative during 2020-21 when the pandemic and the Corona lockdown. But again, we have recovered fast and we have achieved 9.1% economic growth, 7.2, 7.3 again. So this is what is called as V-shaped economic growth. Clear?
Yes, sir. Sudden decline of the growth and sudden recovery of that growth.
Yes, and some economists says that it is not a V-shaped economic growth; it is a K-shaped economic growth. So, do you know what is K-shaped economic growth?
Yes,
Sagar?
sir. K-shape. Yes, yes, sir. जो some sector में ज़्यादा growth होती है, sir, and other sectors are not growing or with that particular sector, sir.
Okay, okay.
मतलब जो rich है वो rich होता जा रहा है और जो poor है वो ज़्यादा
Yes,
poor ही होता जा रहा है.
although there is a economic growth, but there is decline in the income of the people. मतलब लोगों का इनकम डिक्लाइन होता जा रहा है और जीडीपी बढ़ती जा रही है. तो इसमें क्या है, whenever there is a K-shaped economic recovery or K-shaped economic growth, the income inequality decreases or income inequality increases.
Which, sir? Which shape?
K-shape में. In K-shape, the economic inequality increases or decreases. Economic inequality मतलब poor are becoming more poor and richer are becoming more richer.
Yes, sir. Income inequality obviously जो increase ही होगा, sir.
Yes. So in K-shape economic recovery, income inequality increases. So that is what is mentioned here. Although there is a economic growth in India, but the poor are becoming more poor. So that's what you can see. Multidimensional poverty is declined, but income poverty is still there. So income inequality India में अभी भी ज़्यादा है. That is one of the important issue of the Indian economy. Fine. So we'll stop it here now. We'll continue in the evening with the basics of Indian polity class. Pranali and Swapnil, both of you, please join the basics of Indian polity class in the evening at 8 p.m.
Okay, sir.
Have a good day. See you in the evening.